Hey everyone, Howie Fisher with Fisher's Flies. Thanks for checking in. Today I'm tying up a slight variation of Landon Meyer's Chubby Damselfly. The key to this variation is I'm using a pre-cut damsel foam body from Upavon fly fishing. To get started in the vise, I'm using a 50/50 dry hook from Fulling Mill in size 12. And I'm going to be using Peacock Blue Ultra Thread. I'm using 140 denier. You can use 70 denier, but usually 140 denier with foam makes life a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my thread a little bit behind the hook eye to leave a gap for finishing the fly, and then bring my thread immediately to the hook bend. Again, this is the pre-cut foam bodies from Upavon that I've just drawn some segmentation on with a Sharpie. These are really cool products, and they come in two sizes on the sheets. This is what the product looks like itself, and they come in three other different types of bodies along with these Damselfly bodies. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this in right here, right where the taper starts to go back to the tail. And I'm going to take a couple wraps, bring my thread underneath and forward. Then I'm going to grab my dubbing for the body, which is Apex Predator dubbing in Cobalt, also from Upavon Fly Fishing. And I'm going to go ahead and dub this body just like I would a normal Chubby Chernobyl. So I'm going to add some, and I'm actually going to bring a little bit behind this tail just to make sure it stays up, and then over the thread wraps that I've made, and start building my body a little bit. Once I've done that first part, then I'm going to make another segmentation on this fly. Take a couple wraps over the foam. Make sure everything's situated. If you need to adjust, now's the time to do it. Then I'm going to add some legs here. On this fly, I'm using black Flexi Floss. And I'm just tying in a short piece. I like to tie my Flexi Floss in on top and then move the legs to either side. I like to keep this loop. It makes tying the rest of the fly a little bit easier. So I'm going to add some more of this dubbing in Cobalt. And I'm going to, again, just like a normal Chubby, if you will, tie over the legs to make sure that they face the right direction that I want them to. And then I'm going to continue this dubbing forward. So I'm going to do 2 wraps-ish of dubbing and then bring my dubbing to right behind the eye of the hook. And then once I've done that, I'm going to take 2 or 3 more wraps over this foam to create this final segmentation on the body. And before I add a pair of front legs on this fly, I'm going to add the classic Chubby staple, which is that big white wing. Here I'm using ultra dry yarn from Fulling Mill in white. This is a really cool product if you haven't tried it yet. It's actually pre-treated with floatant. So I'm going to tie it in half and then fold it over my scissors like this to create just a little tag. And this is going to help that wing face backwards. Once I've done that, now I'm going to add that second pair or front pair of legs. Same thing using black Flexi Floss. And I'm going to tie this in on top with 2 loose wraps and then pull each side to its position. And then finally, I'm going to add just a touch more of this dubbing to cover up those legs. Again, make sure that they face the direction that I want them to face. You just need a little bit for this final section. You don't want to crowd the hook eye here. Once I've done that, I'm going to pull everything back, and then I'm going to take wraps in front of all of this and finish my fly off. You can see here I had to push some foam back a little bit, like I was packing deer hair, to make sure that I had a little bit of space. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 or 4 turn whip finish, snip my thread, and then hit it with a little bit of Solarez bone dry just on those thread wraps. Use head cement or whatever you prefer, but I prefer this Solarez bone dry. And once it's cured, I'm going to clean everything up. So I'm going to clip the legs, clip the wing, make sure those legs are in the final position that I want them in, snip that back section, And if you sweep all these legs up like this, you can trim them about the same length. They typically end up all being the same. And then last, I'm going to trim this wing. And there you have it. Again, this is a slight variation of Meyer's Chubby Damsel. Tie them up, fish them. Let me know what you think. Thanks for checking in.